so much to me is that she's an artist, she's a business owner, she's an angel, she's full of information. She's created a global brand, Cat Cosmetics. You guys familiar with Cat Cosmetics? And she's not just a brand owner, she lives and breathes Cat. She lives and breathes this artist industry. She, from soup to nuts, created that brand, developed all of the products herself, and she'll tell you that story. But also, she has, this brand is booming. How many of you don't know somebody who uses a Cat product? Like, it's impossible. So, please help me welcome the rock star of all rock stars, the woman herself, Miss Sheila McKenna. She's never who does this? Who does this? Go, Sheila, go. Come on now. It's 3 in the afternoon. You guys have plenty of time to wake up. All right. Yes, and look at the lips. Like, seriously? Okay. So the next person I want to bring up was supposed to be my husband. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I lost him. Just kidding. But he's really special, and the more I get to know this gentleman, the more I see like all of the opportunities that are available for entrepreneurs. When you hear his story, your mind will be blown. You may have thought he was just a Ken doll, this beautiful man that sells the most amazing lights ever created on the planet, but he's actually a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant businessman with the biggest heart you can ever imagine. Please welcome Eric Kaiser to the stage. Isn't he gorgeous? And can I just say he's the best father ever? He's the whole package. The whole package. Thank you for being here.
Vanessa, thank you, my friend.
And last but not least, I don't want to cry, but this next person I'm about to bring up means so much to me. And she means so much to people all over the world because of what she represents, what her family represents, what she has done in such a short period of time. I promise you, you're going to be inspired beyond your imagination when you hear the words coming out of this woman's mouth. She is the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and she's still in her 20s. This business that she owns will be a billion-dollar brand really, really soon, a billion-dollar global brand. And she's here today to answer your questions and give you insight about branding. Please welcome Madison Millardi to the stage. Must pay very, very close attention and get your questions together. How often do you have this opportunity? Like, seriously, like, a makeup show is magic because they create opportunities like this. So, I'm not gonna waste time jibber-jabbing. I just wanna get to talking. This whole session is about the idea of branding. What does branding mean to you guys? Anybody, just talk to me about what branding means to you. Being a brand. Instant recognition. What else? Who has an idea of what a brand is or what branding means? Fantastic, I love it. This is how you show who you are and what you represent, what you're bringing to the world. Perfect, who else?
It's like your 2007 staple jacket, but for your career.
Ah, hello! Wow, I love that energy. That's a perfect explanation. Thank you for that. So, for many of you, when I asked you why you were here, you know, do you have a brand? Are you working on a brand? And the question that everybody raised their hand to is when I said they want to figure out what branding actually means. I'm so happy that you all are here because the people who are on the stage have nailed it. I want to take a moment and allow them to introduce themselves to you, tell you who they are, what they do, and then what it is that they want to get across to you this afternoon. Remember that we only have now 55 minutes. So get your questions ready, and when you have something to say, if there's something that's burning in the pit of your stomach, don't wait, raise your hand, jump up, we'll bring a mic to you so you can get your question answered. Cool? All right, let's start with Madison.
Hello, everybody. My name's Madison. I'm one of the co-founders of Limelight by Alcone, or Lime Life, as we're transitioning into. But I'm one of the co-founders, and I've been coming to the makeup show since I was about 10 years old. Is that right, Mom? Younger, 10. Okay, so even younger. So probably before I could walk. But because I've been working at the trade shows with Alcone since I was a baby. So I've pretty much watched all of this happen and was fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to create a whole and my mic's going in and out. But I'm lucky enough to be able to stay in this industry for the rest of my life, I can safely say. So if none of you have heard of us, go check out our booth downstairs.
All right, and Ms. Eric.
Mr. Kendall.
Yes, Mr. Kendall.
My name is Eric Kaiser. I founded a company named GLAMCOR. We sell professional beauty lighting to 83 countries. Our customers started with the people in this room, makeup artists. Our first customer ever is Danessa. This is a true story. And later, if you in the Q&A, if you want to press me on that, I'll give you a colorful rendition of how it all went down. But we make professional beauty lighting, and we now make prosumer and consumer lighting. And if you ever have an opportunity or you need to fix a lighting problem in your business, we would appreciate you taking the opportunity to look at what we have to offer you. So I can also help you answer many questions about branding, and these ladies up here can fill in all the blanks as well.
Thank you so much. This is a very quiet audience. If I don't hear more screaming, we're not going to continue. No, I'm kidding. And Sheila.
Okay, thank you, Danessa. Now it's the rock star's turn.
Yeah. He's the Madonna of airbrushing.
I have to live up to that, so let's go out later. Okay, it's okay. I'm the rock star wannabe. So hi everyone, I'm Sheila McKenna. I'm the owner and founder of Ket Cosmetics. And I just loved that introduction, Danessa. Thank you so much. I have a passion for airbrushing. And I've brought that into my world of makeup artistry. Luckily for me, I can do what I love. And I provide airbrush makeup products, training, and I have other products other than airbrushing, but that is my passion. And I'm here to also, talk about branding, although I have no education in branding, so mine kind of happened organically, so it's always fun the last time we had this discussion to hear how we all got to where we are and how it unfolded. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for
making it clear.
All right, so I'm just gonna, thank you. This is the best audience ever.
We need like a hype girl.
I know,
like
right?
Up and down the aisle.
Or a hype move, something. I'm gonna come up with something. All right, so let's just get it started. So, Eric is very modest. He is actually a branding and marketing expert on many levels, like started from when he was a teen. So I would love for you to just share your ideas on what is branding, what branding means, and how it can impact the lives of the artists that are in the room today.
There is a very clear difference between branding and marketing. And those lines are continually blurred by the vocabulary that we use because it's not clear to many people what branding is, what marketing is. And it's interesting because the vantage point that we have is because we all have products. And those products need to be represented to people. And the seat where you guys are, your product is your craft. It's makeup artistry. And your brand is for what you stand. In many of the detail you basically had about your jacket. It's your 2007 jacket that you use every day. It's a brand initiative and a brand image is not your logo, and it's not the colors that you use. Those are support for your brand that help tell the story, but it's the actual DNA of the heartbeat of your idea and your perception and your goals and your mission statement that is your brand. So to make it very quickly digestible for you, if you see a Nike swoosh, you know that's Nike. It's just an emblem that indicates a story, okay? And just the way if you see somebody with a teardrop or a couple teardrops under his or her eye, which indicates a story, a tattoo, you know, and that's a gang sign for having murdered people. Those are, this is true, but it is a good example because people create their own brand. They're going out advertising. You see somebody with a teardrop, you already know the story. It's nothing about which you need to ask. And a true brand, it's not the Nike swoosh where you're like, oh, I totally understand. There is no meaning behind the shape. I mean, there is a little bit, but it's not relevant. What's relevant is everything you know about the company, the customer service you received, the efficacy of the products, how you like it, how it makes you feel, the way you feel presented with it. That's what the branding is. And where we sit, the products that we create, it's the branding and it starts with that. That's part of the marketing. But where you sit, the way that you speak, you act, you show up on time, the care you give to your job, the seriousness and the professionalism which come through you, that's how you demonstrate your brand. How you market yourself through emails and parties and all that stuff is something different. That's not branding. But when you show up someplace to do something and you are representing yourself, everything you do, every action you take is your brand. So you have to be especially careful about how you create your brand. Getting the logo and choosing a nice font for it and everything is not what's going to get you hired. What's going to get you hired is your brand, and your brand is for what you stand, and your principles, and your belief systems. So that's my quick Alpha to Omega on that one. I'll kick it off to one of these smarter ones.
Well, I would love for you just to use your brand as an example. Like, how would you describe, you know, your marketing for your brand versus your brand statement and your branding for GLAMCOR? Because it's very specific and strategic.
Yeah, and it's true. An individual, started a company with a mission to solve a problem. Okay, so right there is part of the DNA of the brand. Okay, I'm personally taking on a challenge to problem solve. Now, just remember that for a second, because that theme is not a theme. It's a brand initiative. So when you see our products, you don't think like, oh, there's another thing that they made because they could make that thing. When people see our products, they know that they already solve a problem because they've experienced with it with another product. So everybody expects us to be solving problems with our products. So they consider us more. That's part of a brand initiative. Also, customer service is part of the branding that people just don't understand. It's customer service is one of the biggest currencies in the market right now that is not getting enough attention still. And the example that I like to use is, how many people here own an iPhone or have owned an iPhone? Yeah, most everybody. Here, ready? You just cracked the screen on your iPhone. You know that feeling? I mean, you cracked your screen. Now you're like, what lie am I going to create to try to get this replaced for free? You know, I have to invent something new because I have to pay a couple $100 for this, and they're going to punish me. I'm going to get punished when I go to the world's most valuable company with $1 trillion in the bank, and they're going to chastise me because I dropped my phone because I'm trying to do something, right? It's the worst. I hate that more than anything. Especially when people can afford to do something to make it an experience better for you, and they don't. That to me is just beyond carelessness. If Apple said, don't worry if you break your phone, just bring it in, we'll replace it for free. Would anybody ever consider another phone ever again? And what is that worth? I mean, so think about your own approach. When you create your brand and you put your branding image out there, what is it? You should be customer service focused. If somebody didn't like the work that you did, it's free, because that's part of our mission. And part of our brand is that we're going to stand behind what we do. And so, in our experience, we look at a couple different channels to experience our brand. One is problem solving, two is customer service, and then really from there, it diminishes very quickly because you have to have usability, you have to have commercial reasonability in the market, you have to be able to compete, you have to be at the right price point, but that's all marketing. What matters is you can walk through the door in our shop and you can break your product. You can just smash it on the floor in front of us because you're so mad because you broke your power cord and you're in a rage. And we're going to pick it up and we're going to give you a new one. You're going to walk out and never even consider somebody else again. That's a brand.
You don't have to test that here at the show or anything. Just trust me.
Just an example.
So thank you for that. You know, one of the things that I learned very early in my career and just in studying about business, I went to a Dale Carnegie course, and a phrase that stuck with me was people follow people and ideas, not things. And this is what means so much to the people who are on the stage right now. Really speak to that. Madison, I would love for you to share with them like the idea and the message behind Limelight and just your thought process behind building the brand Limelight.
Well, I think the biggest part of branding, individual branding for all of you, whether you're starting your own company and you're discovering your brand story or you're just an individual artist, the most important thing to keep in mind is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if you spend less time focusing on what exactly is that you do and why you're doing it, people are more likely to invest in you and believe in you and follow what you do. It's very easy to say that, you know, you're a makeup artist, you do makeup, you like doing makeup, and that's great. And people will hear you, they'll listen to you, but they're gonna most likely forget about you. If you tell them, I'm a makeup artist and I love transforming women and giving them confidence to do what it is that they do best, someone's gonna leave that conversation and remember you and think of you next time that they're looking for an artist. And that's kind of sort of the whole philosophy behind Limelight, is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. When beauty guides start talking about how this company has changed their life and how it has made them a better person and how they've been able to contribute to their community more, people don't care what they're selling. They'll buy whatever they're selling because the person that they're buying from is so passionate. And that's really, I mean, luckily we have amazing products and that's what gets the customers to come back. But that's the whole thing. People want to follow people that believe in the same things that they do. So your whole brand is not, as Eric said, your logo, the font that you use in your emails. That all comes last. The most important thing that you can do is put your story out there and tell the story about why you wake up every day. Why is it that you get out of bed every day? Why is it that anyone should care why you get out of bed every day? You know, that's what people want to know. Do you wake up and just want to be basic and trade hours for dollars every day? Is that what you do? Or do you wake up and you say, I'm not going to be basic, I'm not going to be mediocre, I'm going to do something to make a little imprint in the world today, even if it's just spending more time with my daughter or calling that friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. How are you going to be the best version of yourself every single day? And how you put that story out into the world is your brand. And that's what you need to focus on. What you're actually doing should come last. And it should be why you're doing what you're doing. That's the most important. And I think that's the main part of branding.
How many of you have ever been on a diet but still bought the Girl Scout cookie? Because you know what it means. You know the meaning behind those cookies and what it's doing for those girls and for the world, right? So that's the point. Sheila, please share with them the magic behind Ket Cosmetics and your idea of branding and how you decided to brand Ket.
Well, I almost want to piggyback on top of what Madison said, because I was connecting with what you were saying, but also knowing how do you perceive yourself depends on how people see you. And I can give you my personal story when I started Ket Cosmetics, not knowing how I was going to find a lab to create the products that I had already created at home. Now I needed to go big. I needed somebody to make it in big buckets and not, you know, just in a bowl. So I started out my conversations after I searched for makeup manufacturers I would call these places and I would say, hi, my name is Sheila McKenna and I'm a makeup artist and I'm interested in developing an airbrush makeup formula. And every single person said, what? What? Wait, who? What do you, hold on. And then I would get a no thanks. And then I finally decided to look at myself for what I really was. I had created a product, I was already airbrushing it, I was already teaching people how to do it, my company was incorporated, I had my logo. So my next phone call was, hi, my name is Sheila McKenna, I work for Ket Cosmetics, I'm currently using airbrush makeup for my training classes and I'm looking for a lab to partner with that can help me create my own formula. Hold on, please. So the way that you perceive yourself and then communicate it to others means a door open or a door closed. So that's what kind of started my branding. It gave me the confidence to just go forward, to own what it was that I am, and then to stay true to what I wanted and produce a product that delivered what I said it was going to deliver. And if I just stayed true to that, everything else would unfold.
Thank you so much for that. Great start, right? So I wanted you guys to hear that and experiencing them and understand who you have in front of you. Many of you, I've spoken to you, you want to start a brand. Some of you maybe right now maybe doing private label cosmetics. Some of you are kind of confused. You're here, you're trying to make a statement as a makeup artist. This is your opportunity to ask questions and get some feedback from people who've already done it. What I love about everybody who's on the stage right now, no one handed them any cash. They didn't inherit any business. These are all people who started from scratch in their basements or cars or whatever. I won't get too personal, but they are just like you. Okay, so this is your opportunity. Who has something that they'd like to ask? Who wants to move this conversation in a direction of them getting what they need out of this hour?
I wanted to know how Madison got started.
How I got started. Ah, okay. It all started on April 29th. So basically, when I was in college, I was working at Alcone part-time while going to classes. And while I was there was a company called Alcone at Home that was a part of Alcone. And it was really small. It was pretty much non-existent at the time. But I was really interested in it, and I was like, there's something here. I knew that it was destined for greatness, basically. And then my Aunt Michelle asked me when I was graduating if I wanted to go out and find a job, and she was kind of telling me that I should do that. And I was like, no, actually, I don't want to do that. You know, that's too easy. I'm not going to graduate and go become, you know, an entry-level something somewhere and hopefully get a raise in a year. That's not what I wanted to do. And I didn't care if I was working for pennies for a long time. I just knew I didn't want to do that. So I graduated and finally could dedicate all of my time to that company, and we rebranded to Limelight, and that's pretty much how that started. But in the beginning, there was about 4 employees. So it was me, my aunt, like our family friend who's the tech guy that lives in Vermont, and 2 people that worked in customer care with me at Alcone. One of them was from customer care, the other one magically appeared on the doorstep and saved my life. But, and we were picking orders out of a room, basically the size of that wall to there and here, like that was our warehouse. And it was me and these 2 girls in that room until midnight picking orders because the company started growing so fast. But, and then I've been busy ever since, I guess. But I stumbled upon the product development part of the company more, and that's become something that took up a lot of my time, and luckily now I'm brushing that off to somebody else to handle because it is a whole lot of work that it is insane. And now I get to focus on global expansion more because we are expanding globally. But I have to say, if people always want to know where the growth came from and what made us explode overnight. And I have to say, and this ties into branding, that we stopped focusing on selling makeup and we started focusing on selling the opportunity and what it can do to people and how it's changing lives. And the second we stopped talking about makeup and focusing on that, that is when the company blew up. Because we had no idea in the beginning that the company was destined for way more than just giving makeup artists an extra income in their pocket. Because that was the original idea behind the company, was that artists, makeup artists, can sell the products that they are using in their kit, like RCMA and Scandinavia, and they can actually make a commission by selling it to their customers instead of sending them to some store somewhere to give someone else the commission. That was the original idea, and now it's way bigger than that. Now it's changing families and changing lives and helping marriages too. Like we did not go into this business thinking that we were going to be helping marriages, I have to say. But does that answer your question?
One of the things to remember is that people don't always remember what you do or what you said, but they always remember how you make them feel. And what Madison's talking about is a feeling that people get participating as part of the brand. Does that make sense?
My question is for Madison. As an artist and someone who wants to start their own brand and someone who's really passionate about like helping at-risk youth and children, you talked a lot about changing the world and how you're helping save marriages, and you also have
such a specific example. Sorry.
And you had alluded earlier about like not being basic and how you're going out and helping the community and how calling your friends and things like that. And that's something that really resonated with me as an artist. But I wanted to ask you, how are you making those changes in the world, and like what are you doing with the community that's setting your brand apart? And I know you talked about how important that is, but like what are some of the things that your brand does in order to articulate those points?
Yeah, so we actually have a foundation called the Brighter Together Foundation, and it actually supports women in Guatemala, Burundi, Tanzania, and India. It helps women start their own businesses and learn to be entrepreneurs in other countries. So we're not donating money to anybody, we're donating money to teach them how to start their own business in these other countries that the poverty is insane over there, and these women are actually starting businesses from scratch and making it so that their daughters can go to school. You know, in a lot of these countries, girls aren't allowed to have an education unless they pay for it, and it's expensive over there to get an education. And that's what these women are doing in other countries now because of our foundation. So that's something that made me really, really excited, because it's kind of like everything that we believe in, you know? We believe in female entrepreneurs, and we believe in people, you know, making things that they never thought possible happen. And that's what these women are doing, you know? They don't have, in these countries, they don't have someone that's setting the example for them that they see, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go start my own makeup company too. I'm gonna go build my own basket making company too. They are self-starters. There was a little voice inside of them that said, I'm really good at making baskets, I'm gonna sell them, and I'm gonna be able to send my daughter to school. You know, that's what's something so cool, because here we watch success stories every day. You know, it's America, that's what happens. But there they don't have that, so it's even more incredible when someone is able to do that. So we have these collections called the Brighter Together collections, and there's 5 different ones. And each collection you save money, and then we match the amount of money that you save and donate all of the proceeds to the Brighter Together Foundation. So.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
I told you they were magical. All right, who else? Some more questions.
Well, I have a question over here. I'm over here. It won't be too long. I guess when it comes to branding, did you ever? Well, this is for all of you on the board right now. Did you ever come to a point where you realized that my branding had to change, or some people just weren't connecting and you hit a rut? How did you supersede that as entrepreneurs?
I can start with that one. For those of you who know me for a long time, my brand was, I make you beautiful. Exactly.
She do make you beautiful.
Exactly. It's like no one knew who I was. seriously, no one connected Danessa Myricks to I Make You Beautiful. All the products said I Make You Beautiful, everything was I Make You Beautiful, I Make You Beautiful, I Make You Beautiful. Who the heck is I Make You Beautiful? No one knows, no one cares. So 3 years ago, I changed everything from I Make You Beautiful to Danessa Myricks Beauty. There's been a shift. A big one. Some of you are like, yeah, didn't even know who you were before. And my brand has been around for 10 years. Just changing it to my name and allowing people to connect with me as a person and me as an artist as opposed to some random name, I Make You Beautiful, changed everything for me. So I went from making glitter pots in the basement to now being sold in almost 20 countries. So that's a big shift for me.
I can also speak to that as well because there's so many roadblocks and speed bumps that you hit when you're an entrepreneur and you're the owner of the company, and there's no other people to wear the hats. You know, we all know, how many hats am I going to wear today? Oh, the computers went down, right? I'm the IT guy today. You know, Gilla, set up the scanner. That's still not set up yet. Or, you know, I have to go make some makeup now, so I can't fill in to do order processing because Gail called in sick. Like, it's a small company, so every time that one little peg is, you know, taken out of the, you know, or one little card is taken out of the house, it can all come falling down. So you have to really learn how to balance all these plates, keep the balls, you know, the plates in the air and keep juggling. But every day that I get up, and why do you get up? You get up every day because you love what you're doing. And when you love what you're doing, it's not work. And it's kind of crazy because in my mind I just think, well, this is what I do. I get up and I open my eyes and I breathe, and then I do Ket Cosmetics. I can't even imagine doing anything else other than creating, whether I'm creating makeup or doing makeup, making people feel pretty, or, you know, deciding how can I make that better, or how can I make something else, you know, something new. It's just when you're in that mindset of what it is that you love to do and you keep doing it, it ends up happening because you make it happen. Your brain, you have no other choice. Your heart doesn't let you make any other choices other than to get over that speed bump and or go around it. Whatever you're going to do, you have to get to the other side and keep moving on, keep going, and keep your focus on exactly what it is that you want with clear intention.
I think if you're not waking up every morning and you're not like, let's go, like, let's do this, I think you need to make a shift or a change in your life. And I'm sure all of you feel that way every morning because you're here, you're obviously passionate about makeup, but if you're not, there might be something that you need to change.
Exactly. Amen.
So for those of you, I mean, we're makeup artists here in the audience, and then if you're trying to connect with, okay, well, how am I going to take this information that they're sharing and shift it into my business? One of the things to think about is reconnecting to why you got started. Many of us got started with a very specific intention or with a reason how this whole business or this industry or the act of doing makeup made you feel. And then somehow it got cluttered when you started looking at other people and saying, well, maybe I should be doing this and maybe I should be doing that. And it kind of blurred the lines of what you're doing this for. An easy way to reconnect and maybe discover what your branding would be or your brand message is like, what gives you the butterflies? What gives you the goosebumps? What makes you the when you wake up in the morning, regardless of what the weather is or how much money is in your bank account, and start there. That makes sense? Questions?
Hello panel, how's everyone doing? My name is Mojo. First of all, you amazing, all of you guys, so thank you. My question is to Danessa. Danessa, I am obsessed with you. Let's just start there, let's just put it out there. I am obsessed with you. You have been my daily source of inspiration for the past 2 years. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. And I am a strong believer of giving people their flowers while they can still smell it, so thank you for that. I think we've all seen as of late how representation really matters in this industry and everyone deserves to be represented. And I feel like all of you guys focus on that to some capacity, so thank you again. But my question is to Danessa, I'm sorry, I could go all day. What advice would you give to Danessa starting beauty? If you could go back in time and give her advice, what advice would you give her?
No, her as in me, not you. Okay. A young Danessa. Starting back over Danessa. Well, authenticity is a big word that I just cannot let go. Because if I can remember when I first got started, a lot of what I was doing was copying. I wanted to copy who I believed was great or who other people thought was great. So I never really developed my own aesthetic or my own anything about makeup because I was trying to copy other people. And I spent a lot of years copying. And it wasn't until I released that and kind of let that go and just started just having fun and just letting me show through my work that everything in my artistry changed, and then everything in my business, my life literally changed once I stopped being someone else and really focused on being me. And it happened in little bits and pieces because, you know, I'm very shy and reserved and very introverted, and I never liked being seen. Like, if you ever seen any of my DVDs, like, you could have the whole collection, you still don't know what I look like. You just like the knuckle maybe to the fingertip. Sometimes you get like here to here, but you would never see my face. Like, you could walk right past me, you had no idea who I was because I was very afraid to show myself. And even now, like, even in the past year, I've made changes like to open up more and to do more. Like in the beginning of this year, I was like, I'm gonna say yes to everything. Literally, like everything. Because I say no to everything. But now I say yes to everything. And it's something I forced myself to do because I really needed to just break out of like hiding. But what I found is the more I show myself, the more I grow, the more that I attract, the more beautiful things happen, that the relationship between you and I, like everything, opens up the more I open up. So just to bring it back full circle, if I was to do it all over again, I would have been Danessa from the very beginning.
You know, I'd like to just piggyback on that. Because your question is, what would you do over? And you have that opportunity every single day. It's not something for which you need to wait. It's not an event that needs to occur where you hit a reset button. And you should be evaluating yourself every single day to understand what marginal adjustments you can make or major shifts you can make in your life. And even, you know, I can share with you very easy ones. All of us are busy. There's no lack of work for us because we create our own work. And when we're independently trying to reach a goal and we're independently moving forward, we pile on the work to do it. We're not waiting for somebody to come up and, you know, hey, we've got something. We have to be active. We're activators. We're constantly out there. And you can go on a road and you can keep going down that road and doing the work and work and work. But you need to understand what the value is of the work that you're doing and the changes that you need to make to advancing in another department. And so you need to evaluate yourself. And one of the interesting parts of my adult life, I'm 21-ish looking. But I'm constantly evaluating every day what I can do better without having to wait for an event. I think about the events. I think about the worst stuff that can happen and what I can do now to make adjustments to avoid it or use that as an opportunity. And so a couple of years ago, I was on Facebook. And we're all suckers for what are called feedback loops. We get sucked into doing the same stuff over because there's a feedback. There's an action and a response, an action and a response. And for me, Facebook was an action and a response. And I'm going to quote my chief content officer, Jonathan, on this one, but Facebook became a time toilet. I felt worse when I left than when I went on. I don't know the reason why, but I'm like you. I'm trying to think forward, and then Facebook, all the people with whom I'm friends or with whom I'm acquaintance, it was just dragging me down. I'm looking at political statements, people bickering and fighting, like, this sucks. And I calculated the amount of time I estimated I spent on Facebook during a day, during a week, and then trying not to go on it, but then going back on it. And then I calculated this time, and I was shocked. I mean, you have to think about this for a second. I wasn't using it for marketing anything. We had our professional page. I was using it for connecting and trying to make myself feel better or get attention or some garbage. And when I calculated the amount of time, I said it was, let's just say it was, I don't remember, let's say it was 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week times 52 weeks a year. What could I possibly do with that time if I departed and exited Facebook and looking at it, just chopped it off and dedicated that time to something about which I was complaining that I wasn't doing? Those are marginal adjustments. Those aren't major. That's something short you can do. You guys should all revisit doing math every day about what I'm doing during this period of time. And so here's what I do with that time. Okay, think about having 8 hours extra. Well, I can work more to achieve my goal and put it into what I need to do. I can dedicate it to coming here instead of saying I can't do it because I chewed up the time on Facebook and didn't get other work done. But most interestingly is I found time, and I don't read enough books that I would like to read because I choose to do other work to build a company, but I started listening to audiobooks. And with 8 hours of time, I can listen to it at twice the speed, because they talk like this. When you want to know what they're reading, but I can understand that very clearly. It's no problem for me. Just think faster. And I can listen to a 9-hour book in half the time. Think about how many books to which I can listen and then re-educate myself. So, I mean, you have the chance to evaluate yourself every single day. What could I have done better? Do it now. You already know what to do. Don't wait to implement it. Execute.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money. I think another interesting part of this whole Facebook thing too, though, is your branding is what you post on Facebook too. If you're that guy, that girl that goes on political rants every day or negative rants every day, and you're making yourself feel better by putting that negativity out into the social media atmosphere, how are you being perceived by all of your followers? You're going to be recognized as that angry, negative, crazy person, and people see that, and they're not going to want to hire you. They're not going to want to hang out with the crazy political person. So your branding, everything you do is part of your branding.
Thank you for that. So I saw some more questions. Okay, right here.
I have a question about, because you're not speaking from a position of products. So for a lot of the makeup artists in here, a lot of times I'll see makeup artists who will create a logo for themselves and kind of replace their own image with their logo. And I'm wondering what all of your thoughts are when a makeup artist whose primary source of income is services, not product, kind of replaces their own image with a name for their now company, and how you think that impacts them. And it kind of piggybacked on what you were saying about I Make You Beautiful versus Danessa Merrick's Beauty. Then you all of a sudden have this logo as your Facebook picture, and you're not selling a product, but you're selling your service. So I'd just like to hear what you think about that, because I see it happen a lot in our industry.
I think Danessa's example spoke to that perfectly, that people, the second she took her little mask off and put herself out there as Danessa and not I Make You Beautiful, she instantly started creating connections with people and was looked at as a person and not a brand. And I think for you guys that's really important, because people want to feel like they know who's on the other end of the phone and why they're doing what they're doing. So if your profile is a logo and just what you do, you're most likely going to get more calls and more connections and interactions off of a picture of yourself and why you do what you do.
Ingrid, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, I didn't say it, but I went through the same kind of transformation. I did not have my face. I didn't have an Instagram account. I had it, then I made it private, then I had it, then I made it private. Because I had this fear about putting myself out there and being vulnerable and being judged. And Danessa knows this because she's heard me say it a couple of times. I really don't connect well with social media, and but it's something that I have to just transform into. I have to embrace it. It's part of the direction that the world is going in. But I don't have to be upset about it. I can just use it for what I need it for, and dedicate just a little amount of time each day to it. And I have to definitely be regimented with my time, because I still like to go to the gym and I don't want to be stuck, responding. But I used to just have Ket, and then I put my face. So I've come full circle. Sheila Ket's out there. That's my Instagram. My face is there. And I feel like I am connecting more with people now as my face being there than the Ket logo. Yeah, so that's my opinion. But again, no real concrete studies to back it up.
Well, this is what we talked about at the last panel, that the second that Sheila and Danessa started posting more of their everyday life and their kids and not just makeup shots all the time, that's when they actually got more followers and more likes, since that's how we measure success nowadays. But the second that they really let people in, that's when they became the most successful. And I think a lot of our beauty guides struggle with that too sometimes, because direct sales still has a kind of iffy connotation to people out there, and they'll put a front up and be kind of embarrassed to do what they're doing, and then the second they put that wall down and they own it and they let people in and they're proud of what they're doing and who they are, the success just happens instantly. And I think that's the study that shows that that's real.
And people want to know who you are, period. I mean, across the board, always and always and always. How many of you have stopped shopping with somebody or stopped engaging in business with somebody because of who they are? It was really strong, even if it was like your favorite thing, like, I don't care how much I like that cake, I refuse to go back into that store, right? Because that's basically how it all works. They want to connect with you, they want to connect with how you make them feel, so it's like, how are you getting that message across? I want to hear some questions that are more specific. I want to hear questions that are specific to you as working artists, things that you need right now today from these millionaires on the stage that are going to help you move forward in your business. Okay, thank you. Okay, right here. She's right here. Billions, sorry, billions.
There's something to look for.
How do you stay encouraged if you don't have like a strong following, but you want to continue doing what you're doing? But it's like, I feel like a lot is based off like popularity, If one person likes it and they're famous and people see that they're, people are gravitated to that, and they'll go that way opposed to something a little more unique, But how do you stay encouraged, I guess, just moving forward with what you want to do if you don't have a strong following?
It's really simple, just do it. I mean, just do it. I mean, there's nobody in your way but you. There's nothing that's going to stop you but just you. There's no one stopping you. If you walk out in the street and say, I'm going to do this, 5 people aren't going to come over and be like, block you, you can't do that. It's only you. It's it. There's nobody else. There's no circumstance, it is just you. If you really, really, really want it, kill it. Just do it. Don't create excuses. Stop eating. Put your family with. But I'm serious. Like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it easy and you just want to know, how do I get it easy? Or do you want to know how I get it? How you get it is there's no, I have to quote Jonathan again, no substitute for doing the work. No one is going to offer you anything. It is just you. Nice, Jonathan.
And to piggyback on that, again, it goes back to remembering why you do it. If I think about when I started, I was so bad. Like, I was bad at makeup. I was really bad, but I kept showing up even though people laughed at me, would not sit in my chair, because you know why? I knew why I was doing it. I'm a single mother with 2 children, no check. Unemployment has an end date. I wanted to build a future for my children. I wanted freedom to spend time with them. I knew what I wanted. So just because somebody did a different smoky eye than I did, there's no comparison. There's no value in that. There's no, oh, her smoky eye is different. How do I keep going? No, and that's all. So you do what you do, and eventually if you keep doing it, you keep showing up, people who feel you and feel what you're doing are gonna show up and be with you. That's really all it is. So why are you doing this? You don't have to answer. Answer tonight. Go to sleep tonight, get good sleep, wake up, and the first thing I want you to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Write it down. And remember that every day, and that's it. Remember why you're doing it and stay focused on it, and that's all you have to worry about. That's it.
It's very easy to become discouraged if you're not successful at what you're doing overnight, or in the first year, or in the first 2 years. And then one question that we were asked at the last panel in San Francisco was, how do you keep going? And I can tell that the girl that was asking was at that point where she's been working endless hours, investing every single dollar that she had in her bank account into whatever it is that she was doing, because she was on the verge of tears and she just needed to know how she keeps going on like this, and is there a light at the end of the tunnel? And the answer is, if you are fighting and you are okay with putting every single dollar that you have into your business, and that's more important to you than having a certain amount of money in your bank account, it will happen. If it feels good, it feels right, you know what you're doing is the right thing, it will happen. It might be in 10 years, it might be in 20 years, but you are already more successful than the person that's still sitting at a desk, hating their life, but making a lot of money. So just remember that.
My answer is coffee. That's how I get
Coffee?
Coffee. Yeah.
Me too.
Just lots of coffee. And I couldn't work for someone else. I had to work for myself. So I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't.
I'm completely unemployable, by the way. Because no one would ever want me around, because I'd be like, you know what, that's not the way you should do it, and I'll show you why. And intellectually bully them into a corner, they'd be like, just you're fired. Just step outside and do it, come back.
It's up here in the back, yeah. Just stand up and then she'll come to you.
So my question is, when you're not a makeup when you're not associating your brand with your personal name as a makeup artist, and you're going through a rebrand like Limelight, how do you go about making that successful? And generally, like, what is the purpose of a rebrand holistically?
The purpose of our rebrand is because L'Oreal owns every trademark under the sun, even if they're not using it. So we couldn't use Limelight in a lot of the countries that we're going into, so that's why we chose Limelight. But it is really hard, and I'm sure some of you that have gone through this can relate to this. When I found out that we would eventually have to go through a rebrand, I think I did start crying. I felt like it was like something dying, like I don't know why. And I had to go through that. I had to like go through this mental, like, I would be up night after night thinking of new names that I would like more than Limelight. And it was just like, it was kind of like a death, and it can feel like that. But if you mourn the past, and then you celebrate your new beginning and what this means for your future. I don't know what the reason your rebranding is, but if you focus on the reason you're doing that and how it's better for you as a whole in the long run, and you have to believe in it though. You have to believe in what you're changing your name to, because if you don't, nobody else will. And that's very, very true. But
what's the actual example?
I work for a makeup app called Perfect 365, so I work on the sales side, and we're going through a rebrand, and a lot of customers aren't recognizing our app in the store with the new colors, so I'm just wondering different ways we can make that more successful.
You're rebranding Perfect 365 because you're not getting the kind of revenue that you want, so you think rebranding is going to attract people in a different way.
Well, I'm not the decision maker.
But that's what it is. I know the app. I've spoken to your people. The bottom line is, but here's a perfect example. So you were talking over, she's gone now. Bye. But rebranding, you don't need to rebrand unless there's some significant reason. Okay? The reason Perfect 365 is rebranding is their own perception. There's no other reason it should rebrand. It's Perfect 365. Like, everybody knows GoDaddy? What the hell is GoDaddy? Seriously, what is GoDaddy? Everybody knows it. What it is? It's website, registration, all that stuff. GoDaddy. Anybody? Okay, so one of the secrets of coming up with names is whatever industry, in whatever industry you're operating, choose a name that's completely antithetical to the industry you're in. So, for instance, I'm in web domain registration, web.com, web name GoDaddy. It works. No one's thinking about what GoDaddy means. No one even cares. They just know that they know the brand. They know the color palette. They know what happens when you go on the website. They know you get customer service. They know it's cheap. It's done. Brands. So Perfect 365 doesn't need to do anything. It just needs to do a better job of doing business.
You did an excellent job at marketing the company by asking that question.
Exactly. Right here.
Hi, my name is Brittany Christine. Can you hear me? Yes. My name is Brittany Christine. I'm a hairstylist and a makeup artist. And my question is more, I guess, on the branding side, because if you figured out like your why and your messaging and you know what you want to do, your logo, like the whole nine, you got that, then it's like, well, what do you do with it? Because I know Instagram was a good tool, but before Instagram, you know, because I know we've kind of been around before Instagram, there were other things that were done. So it's like, what else can you do once you figured out your brand, like to get it to grow? Like if it's shows, if it's magazines, like what other platforms, what kind of things can you get into?
Before social media, BSM. Well, there's a lot of different things that we train our beauty guides on to do to get their business out there, and one is to collaborate with other brands. Find other companies that align with your beliefs. If you're all about like natural beauty, natural skincare, makeup, whatever it may be, find someone, whether it's a juice bar, we always use that example, or like a yoga studio, or if it's prom season and you do hair, you can partner up with the place that everyone in your town goes to buy their prom dresses at and offer your services there and really just make a name for yourself. There was a point in time where people still created a customer base without social media, and I don't think those methods should be forgotten, but of course social media is helpful for marketing yourself, but there's a lot of different ways that you can put yourself out there without being a social media guru.
And I can add to that too, because I basically look at my Instagram page outside of the personal posts that I have is like carrying around your book. You know, before we had social media, we would put together our book of images. But if you're a hair and makeup hairstylist and makeup artist, you need to do it, and you need to say yes all the time and do every job, because you never know where that yes is going to take you. You know the no is going to shut the door, and you're going to stay where you are today. But if somebody says, will you do my makeup? You know, the answer is yes, and they're going to say, oh, go to this girl, or, you know, if that's the way that you want to start growing, just do it. Do it every day, do it every weekend, never say no. And look at how many people you can touch, how many faces that you can touch in a month that can help you grow. And always, like Eric was saying, you know, show up on time, be clean, be nice, be happy, be positive, and people will get to know you as your brand, and you're the reliable girl that does really nice makeup and makes me feel really good about myself.
I would also think about, like, if you have your brand messaging and you said you have all of that together, then how is it that you're trying to make your customers feel? Have you established that? What's the feeling?
I think I have a few of them, because I'm in a transition. Like, I work in my salon, and before it was just like focusing on my clients, and then I got more into wanting to teach like other people coming up like me, because I do a lot of things, and a lot of people told me, no, you can't, you're doing too much. But I said, like, I learned these things for a reason, so then I decided I want to teach these, and not just the physical doing the hair and makeup, but like how I've been able to sustain and start my own business and all that other stuff, even though I'm still growing. So I'm like caught in between like the two audiences that I'm speaking to.
So the reason why I asked you that question is because, so like, what you just said, everybody in this room can say. It's not anything different. Everybody's focusing on their customers. Everybody's trying to, like, it's very, like, homogenous. Everybody has that same idea. but what's unique to you? So as an example, if you're like, my whole thing is just really, I just want people to really feel good, especially women, especially older women. They never have anybody to take the time to make them feel good about their makeup, whatever. And I have great strategies for mature skin. So instead of going directly at makeup, do something else for women that makes them feel good. It could be anything. It could be in your shop, you're doing a free yoga session, or a free, a free 1 hour jubilee. Has nothing to do with anything. You invite everybody and you create a feel-good experience. When they're in the state of feeling good, then you talk about what you do. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about people feeling good. And when you come here, I'm gonna make you feel that way too. People connect to the feeling. They don't care. I take care of I'm on time, I take care of all my customers, I'm gonna give you the best service. So everyone's saying that. How are you making them feel? So when you're thinking about collaborative experiences, think about collaborations that create the same feeling that you have for your business. So it could be something total opposite, and then you can connect with them that way. Has anybody done that before? Has anybody had like a collaboration that they've done that was like completely opposite than what the brand was, with the two together? She's like, yeah, you're not gonna share it with anybody? You're just gonna walk away? Can you tell us? Yes, no, I won't tell you, but yeah, tell us quickly. That's okay, you're leaving anyway, so you can blush on the way out.
I was trying to brand, so I know someone who's also working on their branding, and she's doing clothing. She just opened up a clothing line, so we gave champagne and fresh cut fruits. We got together in a basement, and whoever came was great, and it was just a very pleasant evening.
And then as a result of that, what happened?
A lot of people started asking me like, oh, I didn't know that you do makeup. I didn't know that you have such a great time like with people.
Exactly. So you have a perfect example. This is not a stage. She was not planted in the audience. It is a real story. Question in the back.
Hi everyone, my name is Rajan and I'm representing Rose by Binda. This question actually lingered around for years. I started doing makeup about 2 years ago, fell off because I didn't have the confidence that I needed, did a one-on-one, now I'm back, But the thing that I'm like conflicted with now is separating business and family and friends. Oh my goodness, we got those. Well, my mom, she gave me life, so I'll never tell her no, but I have some friends who feel like because we're friends, I gotta do their face for free. And then they boil it down to like just the eye or just some brows, and you're like, do I charge $5 for some brows, or, do I break up my, and I end up just doing it for free, and it's like I'm selling myself short. So how do we separate that?
Tell them a story. Have any of them ever gotten married? Had a birthday? Had a baby? What did you do? Did you ask them to come clean your house, or did you go and celebrate them by giving them a gift and contributing to whatever that experience was?
Of course.
Tell them that story. Say, this is my new experience. I have a new business, and I really want you to celebrate me and bring me gifts and uplift me, just the way I did at your wedding, at your daughter's graduation, when your baby was born. That's what I'm looking for from you, and they'll get it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So I think we have, what, like 1.5 minutes. So I want that question that's gonna leave everybody here jumping and screaming and clapping and saying, you know what? That hour changed my life because I heard the thing that I needed to hear so that tomorrow could be different.
That's a lot of questions for the question.
That's okay. They know what we want. What is it? What is it?
What books, Vanessa, or...
This is great question.
Oh.
Yes.
What books do you guys recommend for this industry? I do a lot of personal development books because I believe in continuously growing yourself and bettering, but I just want to know from you.
The Artist Way.
The Artist Way.
That's one.
Amazing.
I
I don't know about any actual artistry books, but if you read Positive Intelligence, that is a really amazing book just for any entrepreneur, and it will explain to you why only 20% of people are successful at what they do.
Positive Intelligence is a good one.
Did I say only 20% are successful?
I don't remember the statistics.
That means 80% of the world could be better. And if you read this book, you can be better.
You can take it back old school. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It doesn't have to be directly makeup related, but it's about your service and your contribution, right? And how you interact with people. You got one?
I got too many.
Yeah, but rattle off. You got 10 seconds.
What was your last audio book?
I'm re-listening because I have time to listen. But a good one is Robert Cialdini's Influence. That's an oldie but an exceptional book that'll give you insight into.
How do you spell it?
Influence.
No.
INFLUENCE.
Robert, I meant how do you spell Robert? No, his last name. His last
Cialdini, Cialdini, I believe.
And I will leave you guys with one thing, an exercise that you can do and do it every day, and it's a really simple one. What I realized, and I've had the same experience, is for a lot of you, everything that you're looking for is already present. You just don't see it because you're focused on the wrong things. And as humans, we tend to focus on what's in front of us. The bad stuff, the stuff you don't want all the time. So I'm going to give you an exercise that will change every day of your life. Throughout the day, and it starts as soon as you wake up, just write down the positive aspects that you see, whatever it is. It could be as simple as, I love these sheets. That was the best sleep that I got. And all day long, when you go to work, even if it's a job you hate, I want you to focus only on listing, rattling off all the things that you appreciate that are positive in that space. Like, you know, I'm so glad that my chair has cushion on it because it makes me get through these 8 hours better. Or, I'm so glad I got these 6 brushes that I really want to go just changing my artistry moment by moment. Just as an exercise, every day. It shifts your focus. If I decided that everybody in this audience was negative, I could find something that everybody's doing right now that feels negative. Look how she's staring at me. What is she thinking? Oh my God, what did she just write down? She must have written down something about a word that I said that she's gonna post later. Oh my God, why is she looking at me like that? Oh my, I can make everybody in here negative if that's the space I was in. Shift your perspective. Imagine everything was good and you can only see positive and focus on that only and watch how every day, every moment is going to change for you. You're going to feel better. When you feel better, better things are attracted to you, and that's when your life begins to change. I love you guys. Thank you for listening.